is a video on root pressure and mass flow, and you need to know about this for AS level biology. So we'll start with root pressure. This is, along with cohesion, which I'll talk about in a little while, is partially responsible for the movement of water up the plant xylem. So this is all about the movement of water throughout a plant, and I'm going to start by talking about root pressure, which is how you actually get the water into the roots in the first place. So we start by saying that in the soil, which is here, there are ions. And if you can remember, ions need to travel into things by active transport. This requires energy in the form of ATP. And the ions travel from a low concentration to a high concentration. So they will diffuse by active transport into the roots. Once that's happened, the water potential in the roots is lowered. Because there are so many ions, there's a lower water potential. This is a good thing because then water molecules outside of the roots in the soil can diffuse by osmosis into the roots. And this is from high to low water potential, and that doesn't require any energy. So that will then happen. So that's just two very simple steps for root pressure. Active transport of ions into the root, osmosis of water into the root. Once in the root, the water has to reach the xylem of the plant. And this is called mass flow. And also the movement of water up the xylem is also mass flow. And this can happen in two ways. And this uses the plant cells. So there's the apoplast and the symplast way. And I'll start by talking about symplast. So symplast is the more simple way, I would say. That's a good way to remember it. And this actually happens straight through the cytoplasm of the cells. So the cytoplasm actually kind of fuses together between the two cells, and this is called a plasmodesmata. So that's a key word you're going to have to remember. And that's when the cytoplasms kind of fuse together from the cells. So the water molecules can actually move through the plasmodesmata into the next cell, and that's the symplast route. The apoplast route actually happens through the cell walls. So here's the cell and here are the cell walls. So the water molecules will move around the cell walls until they reach this strip here, which is called a Casparian strip. And the Casparian strip is waterproof, so this actually stops the apoplast route happening. So it forces the water molecules to join the symplast route. Because only the symplast route can pass from cell to cell. So it will move it into the symplast route from apoplast. Lastly, this is how the water molecules actually physically move up the plant. So you know the way they move, but you need to know how they move. And this involves a bit of chemistry. If you do chemistry, you'll probably know this more in depth. So firstly, in the leaves, once the water has actually reached the leaves, transpiration happens, and that's when the sun evaporates the water from the leaves out into the atmosphere, from high water potential to low water potential. That happens, and this transpiration is actually what pulls the water molecules up the plant. And one of those ways is cohesion. And cohesion is when the water molecules are actually polar, and you'll learn more about that in chemistry if you do it, which means they have a positive to negative attraction between each other. So I've drawn it out here. You have the oxygen with the two hydrogens, and the oxygen is negatively charged with the lone pairs, and the hydrogen is positively charged. So the hydrogen will be attracted to the oxygen between the water molecules. And this is a very strong attraction, and this will actually, so once transpiration pulls these molecules off, these will pull each other up the plant. like that, and that's cohesion. And the second one is adhesion, and that just really means that the water molecules are attracted to the side of the wall of the xylem, so it makes them stick to the wall so that they don't fall down, and that's adhesion. So that's it basically. Transpiration pulls the water molecules up the plant by cohesion and adhesion.